Crap things that happen during IB exam week. I'm sorry if this video seems like it's shaking, I have lost my tripod. But until then, as I've lost my tripod, that's a pretty crap thing, I thought that would inspire me to make a video about how crap things always happen when you're taking your IB exams. You're right now doing your exams, and let me guess, not everything is happening according to your little perfect plan. Why are these crap things happening to only me, you may be thinking? Well, me and my friends went through some pretty crappy things during IB exam week as well. So this video is dedicated to those crappy things that happen, and hopefully it'll make you feel just a bit better about the crap things that happen in your IB exam week. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope a little bit of my misery and my friend's misery makes you feel a bit better. The first thing, I realized I'm pretty much an idiot. You know, my most comfortable subject in IB was economics. Why? It was all based on one thing. I always got pretty good grades in economics. Like, my teacher would always tell me, Cole, you're gonna be the guy to get a 7. And I believe that I'm gonna be the guy to get a 7. But guess what? He tells me during IB exam week, more specifically during the time I had to take an IB after I finished an IB test, or was it before? And I was in the restroom. And he also came to the restroom to wash his hands. And I just asked him casually, hey, how do you think this will go? How do you think my exams will go? And he's like, this is what he tells me. All my confidence was based on the fact that I did good in my economics, right? I always got good. This is what he tells me. Cole, I've been grading you leniently for the last 2 years. And if I graded you to the real IB standards, you would get way, way less than what you're getting now. And did I mention he said this all with a nice, cheerful smile? How do you think that, what effect do you think that has on me? My one subject I was most confident in, turns out I'm pretty crap at. But that's nothing compared to how much of an idiot my friends were during their IB biology exam. You see, in IB Bio 2016 was when they had a revision, a syllabus change. And what happened is for their third paper was an option paper. And in that exam, section A was mandatory, and section B you had to pick your options, which part of section B you wanted to do, you had to pick one. But for the bright students of my grade, who I will always cherish, they thought section A was optional as well. So guess what they did? They just made their own option paper and they just skipped section A altogether. So they didn't do 50% of a paper that was mandatory because they're so smart. You see, I just love it how that happens. See, they were all smart all the way through IB, and then they just skipped 50% of the third paper. How amazing does that have to be, right? It's so fun. Crap things that happen to IB people. Turns out I'm an idiot, but it's alright because my friends are bigger idiots. But it's funny how some of them who skipped that still ended up getting 39s. I know, whatever. Anyway, third things. I did what I always tell people not to do, which is don't study last minute. And I'm not talking about one night before. I'm talking about 45 minutes before an exam. You see, during my other exam board that I had in school, it was just before my IB exam. That was really pretty important. I made a list of 6. But a lot of it was based on the IB, the syllabus. I made a list of 60 words based on IB past papers for Lang B that I never knew, and I made a list of those 60 words. I memorized them, and when I did them for my internal exams, the other exam board, it helped me so much, right? So much. But it's funny because I didn't organize my time well. So this is what happened after my exam. Just before my Lang B exam, I went to an empty classroom in my school and I opened the list of 60 words. And it turns out I forgot 59 of them. I'm such a crap person that I didn't memorize any of this until 45 minutes before my B exam. And guess what? 2 other bright language B students came into the same classroom and started asking me, what am I doing? I said, oh, I'm memorizing words. He's like, oh, did you already learn all the formats that we need to learn? I'm like, what formats? Turns out, and this is 20 minutes before my B exam, that I didn't learn everything that I need to learn for my exam. What a wonderful way to spend the last 45 minutes of a subject. I will always cherish that. And that's not all. No. You see, even the night before, for my English Lit, that was the time I actually kind of studied English Lit. Like, yeah, in these last 2 years, I knew, like, the codes, the themes, the plot, the character arcs. But literature finally made sense to me that night before my IB exam. All those 2 years, it didn't kind of make sense. Like, I knew everything, but it all just kind of clicked one night before my IB exam. And I just remember thinking to myself, if I had known all this, if I knew how literature worked any time, like before this last time, I would have done way, way better. But it's just so funny how things work. Like, always these stupid crap things happen one night before IB exam. Like, it just, I don't know what to say. Anyway, let me tell you about another story about how I handle stress. This is not for my IB exam, but this is for a really, really important exam that happened before my IB exam, the one that the school board that I had to do. So, one day before my math exam, which was like I'm saying, it was a lot of it was based on the IB syllabus, but anyway, it wasn't my actual IB exams. One night before this exam, I remember being so relaxed, feeling so prepared, feeling so happy that I was ready for my exam. And with a great smile on my face, I went to bed. But after 5 minutes of going to sleep, I realized, hey, why is the room getting colder? And after 5 more minutes, I realized, whoa, the room is getting really, really cold. The AC must be broken, I thought. But the AC was fine. But I kept on feeling colder and colder. And while this was all happening, I closed the AC totally, but I still feel cold and more cold. And I get to the point where I'm shivering. But I'm still smiling, right? Because I'm so relaxed and so prepared for my math exam. I don't need to worry. But I just keep on feeling cold. So I put layers of clothes on top of me. And while I'm doing this, I'm sitting on the floor. And suddenly my dad walks into the room. And with a shocked face, he asks me, why in the world are you putting layers of clothes on you? And I just told him with a nice smile, don't worry, Dad, I'm fine. Turns out, the AC wasn't broken. Actually, what happened is that I got a 39 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius fever, which is pretty bad, and it's actually really bad one night before an important exam. I was not stressed at all. I just kept on smiling, and it's funny, in 30 minutes, the fever left. The fever came, reached an extremely high temperature, and left all under 1 hour. Here's my theory. I think my body probably felt so stressed with this exam, but I didn't want to deal with it because I just wanted to smile because I'm a cool guy. And when it realized that I'm not dealing with it, this is just a theory, it kind of just shut down. And that's why I got the super fever. And then I realized that I can't get sick because the next day I can't miss my exam, so getting sick wasn't an option. So my body just took away the fever. Is that the reason why these things happen? Probably not. But I had to think about that this is the reason it happened. Because it shows me how stressed I really was even though I wasn't dealing with it. Can you imagine one day before an important exam, getting a 40-degree fever? Well, that's okay. It's actually really easy because I did it with a smile. What about you? What crap things are you facing during your IB exam week? What things are you facing that you are that you feel, oh, I can't believe this is happening to me? Well, there could be a lot of things. Maybe you realize that you forgot to study for a major portion of your exam or a major portion of your syllabus, and you're only realizing this 2 days or even one night before your exam. Or maybe you left a lot of things to the last minute and you're finding it really hard to study these hard concepts one night before, and guess what, they're not making sense. Or maybe you realize that your calculator isn't working the night before your math exam. Or maybe one night before your exam, the time which you thought I'm gonna go crazy and study like crazy tonight, you get a major headache and you can't study as much. Or maybe you just realize you're an idiot one night before your exam. That's a pretty crap thing to remember to realize one night before your exam. Let me tell you something. I've even before IB, right? All of us have taken tests and we've all had exam weeks. There's always one thing that kept me going during exam week. You know, exam week is never perfect. Things never go the way you want them to go. You always feel that you should be more prepared during exam week than you actually are. And there's one thought I'd like to leave you guys with, because it's something that I always used to get through exam week ever since I was a kid. Whether it was grade 5 exams, grade 9, IGCSE, IB, doesn't matter. I always remember this one thing. Maybe in like 2 weeks, right? You will have your final IB exam. And that, like, you know when your final IB exam is. And this is what I always did. I concentrated on that last minute of my IB exam in the future. For example, let's say your final IB exam is 24th May and your exam finishes at 12:30 p.m. What I always did when I had to go through these exam periods is I always concentrated on that time. 24th May, 12:30 p.m. 24th May, 12:30 p.m. Because that is the last minute of IB. And I always remember that because no matter what happens during IB exam week, no matter whether I feel terrible, whether I feel like crying, whether I feel like breaking down, whether I go through the largest amount of stress I've ever gone to, whether I'm sure some of us even feel like killing ourselves during this week, whether some of you can't sleep till midnight because you're undergoing so much stress, whether all of these things happen to you, if your last minute of IB is 24th May at 12:30, this is what I always taught. 12:31, I'm free. I'll be done with the last 2 years at 12:31. Done with all the BS I had to go through. And it's amazing, that shift from 12:30 to 12:31, you'll be in that minute and you will feel so euphoric. That moment when you finish that last minute of your IB exam, a tremendous amount of weight will be lifted up out of your shoulders and you will have such a nice, calm feeling. Look forward to that minute. Remember, whatever happens, you will get that feeling. You know those people who had crap things happen to them in this exam week, like me, my friends who skipped 50, that stupid portion of their bio paper. I still graduated with 40. My friends, some of them who did that, they still graduated with 39. Just because crap things happen to you during this week doesn't mean it's gonna reflect badly on your IB score. Everybody faces these things. So remember that, but more importantly, remember that minute when you finish your IB exam, it will just be so nice. And you will feel that those last 2 years, it just suddenly disappears from you. And that night you sleep like a baby. And it's just so calm. Just remember, whatever problems you face through these next 2 weeks during your IB exam period, it's all going to be done soon. And I hope the best for you guys. Take care.